Sherry, do you have YouTube up for questions?
I'm working on it. I don't see it yet, but I will.
Okay, it says it's setting it up.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on it.
We're both rushing around this morning.
I spent much of my adult life exploring our past.
Wait a minute, I can do
I had the opportunity.
We're getting ready for the opening ceremony at 12:30, so we're going to do this Q&A, and I'm going to finish like 15 minutes before I have to finish setting up. So we will plow through all of your questions today, and then you guys can hang out if you want, but I've got to, we're doing the opening ceremony out on my back patio, and it'll be interesting because I have neighbors who have like a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old who like to scream on the patio next to me, so we may have some kid energy in the opening ceremony. How is everybody today? Thumbs up. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's Sunday, it's June, it's June 23rd. And we are doing live Q&A today, and I really want to just touch base with everybody. And for those of you who were in the workshop yesterday, we covered a lot of information. And those of you who are in the mentorship who are here, we covered a lot of information. And you guys have been immersed in it for a while now. And so I wanted to open it up to questions specifically for the mentorship and the medicine wheel. And my goal in all of this is to teach you how to bring this spiritual path into your everyday living and to really make it an integral part of really every moment that you are alive and breathing. If we don't have that, we're not really living, an authentic, full life. If we're got one toe in the spiritual world some of the time and the other toe in the career some of the time and relationships some of the time. So really it's about bringing all those pieces together and being able to use it. So we can do this a couple of different ways. You can either put questions in the chat or in the comments if you're on YouTube, and we can get to them that way. You can, for those of you who are on Zoom, you can come on camera and unmute yourself and ask away. I'm probably also going to ask for anybody who's in the mentorship that wants to speak into what it's like to be there. That would be great too. So let's just start. Does anybody have any questions right off the bat? I've got a few that were emailed in that I'm going to get to eventually. Who just raised their hand? Raven. I can try to unmute you. Oh, wait. Hold it. There we go. Wait. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I did your guided visualization with the 4 guardians last night because I just didn't quite. I've been a medicine wheel practitioner kind of for a long time, but I have a different version of the medicine wheel, so I wanted to get in there and see how you see it. So I did all that, but my question, and I really liked it. I liked going with the different animals. It was really a deep journey. But my question is, in the north, since I take it you see that as the spirit body, do you also see it as the earth element?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason for that is that when we journey, we want to have that anchor into Mother Earth to bring us back and to be grounded while we do the spiritual work. Otherwise, we just kind of float away.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, and I want to touch on something you just said too, that you understand the medicine wheel in a slightly different version than I do, and that is wonderful. I want everybody to really bring this tool into your heart chakra and sit with it and let it be your wheel. And if you have an animal that keeps showing up in the west direction, but it doesn't make sense in the version that I'm teaching or in another version that you know, then that's your version, that's your animal, or that's your color, or that's your element. It really is, when you look at medicine wheels across the world, across all different cultures, time and space, they're all slightly different, and they were all varied because they lived in different cultures, different environments, they had different animals that were present, different plants that grew. And so it's really important that the medicine wheel be personal to you. I give you a framework, and I give you my framework because that's what works for me. And I know a lot of people have fire in the west direction, or I'm sorry, south direction, and water in the west direction. I have it reversed because for me, it made more sense that the watery emotions of the south, and we're kind of dolphin is a playful energy, and that's the gatekeeper. Salmon is the gatekeeper for the south. They're all in water. And fire is transformation and alchemy. And in the west direction, we do a lot of transformation. We take what we've manifested, and if we want it to be something different, then we manifest something different. And so fire becomes the alchemist in the west. So you're going to find different versions in different places, but it's really super important that you sit with it and make it yours. This is what we do in the north direction too. We go through your belief systems and we ask, why do you believe this? Who told you this, and why do you believe it? And do you really believe it? Is it really true for you? And if it's not, change it to what feels true for you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And thanks for bringing that up. I wanted to, that always seems to be a question is, wait a minute, I've heard this element's in this direction and blah, blah, blah. So Sharon's asking, what are the spirit animals for the south direction? And I just kind of gave away at least one of them. Dolphin is in the south. Salmon is on the Celtic wheel. Frog reminds us to be spontaneous and playful. Dolphin is playful. And dolphins are also very emotional. But when I look at the medicine wheel too, and I don't really, when I do like the whole thing, I have like 2 or 3 animals in each direction. But in reality, for me anyway, it makes sense that any water animal would be in the south. Any fire animal like dragon, phoenix, snake would be in the west direction. Any air animal like all birds would be in the east. And then earth animals, so land animals, would be in the north. So you can kind of think of it that way, because sometimes we resonate differently with I resonate with dolphins because I'm a kayaker, and I was an ocean kayaker, kayak guide for a number of years, and I used to kayak in an area where there were a lot of dolphins and also stingray, and they became my little avatars, so they're good for me. I don't resonate with salmon unless I'm eating it. But it is part of the Celtic wheel, and I teach a lot of the Celtic stuff, so I have a great respect for salmon, though. They can swim upstream. They have a great memory. What other questions do you guys have?
Hi, Dakota.
Hi.
My name is Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
I added the angelic realm. So I incorporated the angels in each direction. And my animal spirit is a hawk. So I always try to put the hawk in as well. But yeah. I just love all your meditations. And I just want to say I'm really in gratitude for everything you do. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sonia. I really appreciate that. And in my medicine wheel, the hawk is in the east direction and is one of the primary gatekeepers of the east. Hawk and eagle and owl. And I also do feminine and masculine energies. So hawk would be one of the masculine, the yang. Is it the yang? Yin and yang? Yeah. I love the idea of adding in archangels to the directions. That's perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been sharing it with my students. I try to teach as many people your medicine wheel because it helped me. I do it every day, and it's really made a shift in my life. Oh, my dog is trying to get in the video.
Oh, what a cutie.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Before you do,
can I ask you a question? What do you do each day?
I just really appreciate you. I enjoy your meditations.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And Sonia brings up something too that I want to point out is you can use the medicine wheel every single day. And
how do I use?
Yeah, how do you use the medicine wheel each day? There might be a lag.
So I actually visualize myself going into the medicine wheel. And I call in my
Uh-oh.
I think I left.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I use it every day. I call in my Son Masters, spirit guides, and angels, and I sit inside it.
Uh-huh.
And it's just, I made it my sacred space.
Yeah.
Just like how your video says. And I visualize myself talking to my guides and asking for clarity. And it really helps me to just really focus, go inward, and my animals help. My gatekeepers and the angels are always very helpful. So
Yeah.
it's very powerful for me, and I use it every day.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And you can each day do something like what Sonia's relaying, meditating with the medicine wheel, sitting in it, calling in your guides, asking for clarity. Another way you can use the medicine wheel is to divvy out the day according to the wheel. So in the east is the morning, afternoon is the south, evening is the west, and then nighttime is the north. And so sometimes, a lot of times I will, in the morning, that's when I'm doing my east activity. So I'm answering emails, I'm making out my list that I need to do. I'm doing some of the heavy work that I need to do, especially if I need to write. I will do it in the mornings. And then in the afternoon, I do something that's nurturing for me. I might go do some self-love, take a walk, whatever it might look like for me on that particular day, eat a healthy salad. And then in the evening, I'll do something in the west direction. So I might exercise or go swimming or do something that's good for my body. I also might do something that's good for the earth. And that's a lot of times I'll do a little bit of the tending to, I'm now a new gardener, just as of like 4 weeks ago. And so I've been having fun nurturing the plants in the afternoon, but in the evening I will tend to them and get my fingers dirty. I actually planted some cilantro last night, and it's just getting into that earth element. And then in the north, I will prepare my dream time with either journaling or asking a question that I want clarity on, or calling in my guides to meet me in dream time so that I can journey and go somewhere else to do some work while I'm sleeping. Sometimes I just fall asleep on the couch though, and I don't do that. But when I do that, what's interesting though is that there are a lot of times when I do that particular thing, I'll have people email me the next morning and say that I showed up in their dream time. I'm like, whoa, wait. So I must be doing some other work too. But the medicine wheel is wonderful to work with on a daily basis and in a way that makes sense in your life. Let's see here. Sharon, I pray and smudge in the 4 directions I learned from Native Americans, fools, crows, books in particular. Sun Bear has good books too. Yes, Sun Bear does have a really good book. It's actually sitting behind me on the shelf. And yeah, we just did a whole unit on prayer in the East direction. And people have sometimes a misconception about prayer because we think that it's religious and, only certain religions pray. But prayer is really a beautiful tool of the East that gives us that voice to speak and take that into the world and into the ethers to meet with spirit. So it's a beautiful practice to get into. Raven, I set up my living room with directions in mind. Also do a tarot medicine wheel. Yeah, that's great. I like, the oracle cards in medicine wheel is really interesting. Love that. Laura, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about in the medicine wheel, when you start working through it, do you typically want to start working from the north direction, kind of getting your bearings and getting your foundation and working through it, northeast, south to west? Is that typically what people do, or do you find that you just kind of pick and choose where areas that you need to work on at the time? Because I feel like, you know, if I want to balance, I need to start somewhere. So
you can start you can hop on the wheel at any point, really. And because what's happening is you're pulling in from the directions all at once. So even though like right now we're going into the south direction, I actually think, well, anybody who knows me long enough will know that I say this every direction. This is the best direction to start in. The south is a great direction to start in because you're diving right into the emotional body, and which really usually is what needs a lot of healing work done. But just because we're in the south, we're actually balancing all the other directions at the same time. So we're never just working only in one direction. We're just actually utilizing that energy of that direction. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then when you get around to the north, you've been primed enough to really be able to really dive in. And
so,
get there.
For a follow-up, so for somebody kind of just starting out and looking at your medicine wheel in the way that you've set it up, how long, I mean, yes, everybody is different. So I don't know, that's a silly question to say how long it would take you to kind of work through those. And I say work through the elements because I've always practiced in that way, that the elements associated with which direction. So it is a little different than the medicine wheel you have set up, but it's really the same thing. You're balancing.
Yeah,
so,
you're balancing.
Yeah.
There's really is, in my mind, there really is no way to not have all the directions at play at any given moment, because there's too much of a fluidity happening in the medicine wheel. And really when, like for the mentorship, what I really want people to get is the feeling of each direction, what that energy feels like, but then to be able to see how all those fingers are spread and how energy is coming and going. You were on the workshop yesterday, and just being able to see, if I have this event happening, what's happening in all these different directions right now because of this one event. And you're pulling energy from one direction, it's pushing energy into another. And when you understand the energies and you have felt them, you've worked with them, you know them, then you are able to see all those pieces being put together. A lot of times people will think that their life is absolutely falling apart. Like, I just feel like everything is going to crap right now. But when you look at it from the perspective of the medicine wheel, it can be one small thing that you shift. And that one small thing has a ripple effect all the way around the wheel. And then all of a sudden everything falls into place, or falls in differently.
Yeah.
So hop on. Join us.
I love it. I was introduced by a friend, and he put a medicine wheel in the middle of his backyard, and he sits and meditates on it, and is working on it too. So I love it. It's a wonderful program you have.
Thank you. Thanks. It is a wonderful program. Norma.
Can I make a statement to Lori?
Yeah, absolutely.
My belief is that you get introduced to this group, this community, when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed it out of the blue and didn't know it. And it was really rapid fire. It was like within a week of being introduced to Dakota, I was signing up. It was that fast, but it changed everything for me.
Yeah.
And so thinking back, if I would have thought, okay, I need to start, which I would have thought I had to start in the north. That would have been my first, inclination, was to start in the north, and it wasn't for me. It was the east. So I think you get introduced to this community when you need it.
Yeah.
That is very true.
I think that's the truth with anything that comes to you, especially from a spiritual standpoint. I think it comes to you when you need it and when you're ready for it. I love that. Thank you.
You may not be mentally ready for it.
This is why you're not starting in these. Brooke, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was just going to agree with Norma. Kind of the way that I
I mean, I found it when I needed it, but I think the way I kind of look at it is the direction that I had the most turmoil right then, that needed the most attention, immediate attention, was where I got introduced, and that's where I started.
Yeah.
And as you know, it's been a huge transformation for me.
Yeah.
So, I agree.
And so Norma has been on the mentorship now for, is this your 5th round?
6th.
6th. Yeah. And Brooke, you 3? You're starting 3 or you're starting 4?
This is my 2nd direction.
You're starting 2.
I started in East just last time.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I've known you all my life.
I know, it's been crazy.
Yeah, it has.
We've gone through a lot together.
We have. Oh, that is so true, though. It's such a beautiful process. You know, I never sell, and this was true when I was a massage therapist, but mostly when I was a holistic health practitioner. I never sold gift certificates because the person needed to be ready for the work. And if somebody gave them a gift certificate, that meant that that person wanted them to go, for them to change, because they had an agenda. And I, you know, in the early days, I would sell gift certificates and none of them got redeemed. None of them. I mean, it was free money for me, but I felt bad. It's like I knew that if somebody wanted to buy a gift certificate, it wouldn't work. And same thing with mentorship. I won't let somebody else try to buy a mentorship package for somebody that they know without them knowing. They have to be in agreement, because it is really a personal thing. That's why we don't do scholarships anymore. We did scholarships for a bit, and anytime we gave somebody a scholarship, they weren't ready for it, and they would show up for one class and then never show up again. And it became like it was a lot of money that people gave into a scholarship for nothing. So you definitely have to be ready for it. But like Norma and Brooke are both saying, you wouldn't be here if you're not ready for it. And that's, there's some piece of each person who showed up yesterday and showing up today, there's a piece of you that's seeking something. Brooke.
Yeah, the other thing is that after I went through the East and I changed so much in the East and kind of balanced that energy, now it just sort of naturally is leading into the South, because since I kind of fixed all the East energy, or at least a lot of it, now some of the things that were perhaps not as urgent in the South are now sort of bubbling up and saying, okay, let's go to this and do this too. So yeah, it works great.
Yeah, exactly. That's when you have to trust the process. And I'm the same way. I have to trust, like, if something is coming my way. Actually, I think I shared yesterday, my dog is sick right now and has to have surgery. And Sherry, who is not a pet owner, gets this random email of the supplement. And normally I would never buy into something like this, but it was like, because things kind of come to you exactly when you need them, and sometimes it's through other people. It came through Sherry, and we watched this video last night. I'm like, all right, I got to buy that stuff. Save my dog. But
which dog?
Izzy.
Okay.
Yeah, cancer, high cholesterol, and low thyroid. So we are going to get her back in shape. So they think that they can get it all out through surgery, though. So that's good. Any other questions that I can answer? And how are we doing over on YouTube? Everybody's so quiet over there. I see 15 people watching, but they're so quiet. Sherry, put a comment in there. Say, ask some questions. I love that we can actually do YouTube and this at the same time. YouTube is where probably a lot of you guys found me. It's really a great source of just being able to tap into the community. And I just, we hit like 1.7 million listens on YouTube. So that was monumental. I remember last year, Sherry and I were toasting. We were just about to hit the 1 million. And so in less than a year, we've gotten 700,000 more. So that's pretty cool. What is the medicine wheel? And don't laugh at my question, Brian. Brian, I would never laugh at your question, even though you're laughing because you got those little smiley faces that are laughing. The medicine wheel is just an ancient tool that has been used for thousands of years across all different cultures. And in today's time, and what I'm doing here is bringing to earth, or bringing up that beautiful thing that they used, and making a modern day version of it to where we can integrate it into our lives today. Our lives are much different than back in the day when cultures were first using this. They use it for healing and ceremony and ritual, is some things, and then they would call in energies and things like that. But the overall, for me, using the medicine wheel is like a framework, and you can tap into the energies of the different directions to really bring yourself into your power, and bring yourself into authenticity, and to live really the best life that you possibly can, integrating all 4 directions simultaneously so that you're living your sacred purpose. And living your sacred purpose in a way that really is congruent with your soul's purpose. And sometimes, a lot of times, I find that people don't know what their soul purpose is. And it's slightly different than your sacred purpose. Like sometimes we feel like we have a calling to do something, but if you actually do some past life regressions, you'll find like a thread of like a theme that is your soul's purpose. And so for me, in previous lives, I was a medicine man, I was a healer, I was a witch, all these threads of lifetimes where I was, my theme followed the thread of being someone who helped others heal. And I'm doing that in this lifetime. My version is teaching. And in a future life, it'll be something different. What other questions can I answer for you guys? Mentorship, medicine wheel, Raven.
Yeah, I just want to be sure about, sorry about the directional thing, but because for so long the South has been fire for me. So, but it's kind of interesting going into the emotional realm in the South, because I would usually do that in the West, but I know that is the reason I got on the wheel right now, is because of relationship stuff and emotional stuff. So I do think it's interesting that kind of popped up that way.
Yeah.
So, but I can still, just in my own practice, have the fire in the South if I feel like it here and there.
You can. Okay. And, and I also, I wish I had a whiteboard. When I look at the medicine wheel too, this may make more sense to you, Raven. The east-west line is masculine, and the elements of air and fire are masculine. Air feeds fire. And then you've got the vein of north-south, which is the feminine vein. North is earth, south is water. Water nourishes earth. And so when I went in, I shared this yesterday, when I started working with the medicine wheel, I did a lot of work in my Akashic records, worked with my spirit guides, did the journey and everything. And I kind of rebuked the way that I was being shown it also, because I also had learned fire in the South. But when they showed all of these little ways of how they feed each other, it made so much sense to me, because water and air, they don't complement each other. Fire and earth don't really complement each other. Fire and earth are a little bit easier to fit, but air and water aren't. So when I was showed air feeds fire, water feeds earth, it's like, okay, that I can grasp my noggin around. That makes sense to me. And also that the emotions, when you have incongruency in your emotions, when you are not allowing yourself to really feel fully, and you're shoving emotions down, or you're expressing them in unhealthy ways, then it comes out in the physical body. So you're manifesting disease and illness through repressed emotions. Every health issue is related to an emotional component. And so you can't have the physical body first without having the emotions It's got to be reversed. It's got to go, for me, it's got to go southwest to make sense. So, and I offer that because there's a lot of ways you can look at anything. You can take a prism and you can shift it slightly and see the same view, but a different view, or a different point of view. And so this medicine wheel is like that also. You can still just, you know, change it a little bit and let it fit where it needs to be for you. And it sounds like for you, and this could be for others too, that at this time, coming into the south direction is the cry for your soul saying, we've got some emotional work to do, we've got some relationship work to do, we have some you know, self-love that needs to happen, and we need to get you to trust your intuition again and play and experience joy in your life and to really come to life. You know, right now we are in just this immense chaotic east direction energy, and we've got to process it through the south direction. We've got to process the emotions that we're all having about where we are globally so that we can begin to heal that and then manifest something much, much, much different than what's happening right now. And it's not to blame either side. You know, I think most countries have, you know, there's two polarities that are governing their societies, and it doesn't really matter what side. But what does matter is healing that divide and that gap that exists and manifesting something different. And that's a whole other ball of wax there is the global medicine wheel. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday, was the global piece to it. So Sharon, is there a past life test? How do you find out what your past life was? There's not a test, but you can go into, if you're doing a shamanic journey, you would go to the middle world. And the middle world is the spiritual superimposed world of what we live in right now. And that's where we have the time continuum. So there's past, present, and future lives. You can also go to your Akashic records in the upper world and view your Akashic records to see what your previous lives were. There are meditations that I have on the website in the Soul Shop. Actually, if you go search by theme and scroll down to where there's past lives, you can look for a meditation that will help guide you through that process of finding some of your past lives. The other way to find out your past lives is shamanic breath work is really a great avenue for it. But also just paying attention to what you are really pulled to or repelled by in this lifetime. I had a deep fear of water, like huge, huge fear of water. And part of it was ancestral. My mother's side had all these experiences with drowning, but I also drowned in a previous life. And because I had that repulsion of water, that fear of water, led me to investigate that a little bit more. What else do we have?
Where did you say to find the meditations for past lives?
Go to the Soul Shop and shop by theme. And I'm pretty sure I've got a theme set aside just for past life.
Hey, Dakota.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with me posting the course outline just so people could see
Yeah.
the topics that are covered in this direction?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll stay on track with that. So this past year, I have gone through my own complete metamorphosis and shifting and changing. And I originally had written and filmed all of these courses for the mentorship. And I looked so different, and I lived in a different place, and all these things. And so beginning with this Alchemist of last year, I decided to rewrite the entire mentorship and deliver it a little bit differently because I was a different person. I had a different understanding. And it has been really, really wonderful to do that, to kind of revisit some of that stuff. So the south, this direction, is my last one to rewrite until I get this inkling to do it again. But so that's why I said that to Sherry, is that right now I'm in the process of writing it and I'm staying on track, but there's so much information I want to divvy out and give. So it's, you know, part of that is just, it's in the works, but it's all still there. In the South, we've done, this will be the fourth or fifth South direction we've done. What's happening over here in YouTube land? Oh, South Africa, Cape Town, nice. And meditations on YouTube. Nikki Star, you need to come to the mentorship program if you're being drawn to it. Oh, Nikki's in Texas there, Sherry. Very good. In Canada, India. That's what I love about this too. I love this whole online thing, is that you get really a global family. I love being able to have so many people from all over the world. Any other questions or comments? Raven.
Yeah, sorry I have so many questions, but
That's
I just on a whim signed up for the mentorship. It's like I inherited a little bit of money and I felt like it was a gift from my dad. You know, here, this is what you do. So but anyway, you said something about the workbook on your website, and
yes.
Do I need to get one of those, or does it kind of come with a program, or should I just rush off to Amazon and get one right now? What can you tell me about?
I'm going to answer that in two ways. One is, you do not have to have the workbook to do the mentorship. It's just like if you want it. And number two is, yes, rush off and get it. And actually, it just got published yesterday. The timing could not be more perfect. But this particular workbook, so I write a workbook for every direction. And this one is a little bit different. So those of you who are on the mentorship, it's a little bit different than what has been in the past, because what I was finding is that all these people were buying the workbook who weren't in the mentorship, and really it was supposed to be a workbook for the mentorship. So there's, you know, live call notes, and there's like our schedule and our exercises and things like that. And so for the layman, it wouldn't have made sense to them. I know Linda got it. She's not in the mentorship, but she still was working through the workbook her best she could. So Linda, you'll be happy to know this. The South Direction one, Sacred Heart Warrior workbook, is good for anybody who buys it off the shelf. It's going to be really good. And it's written in a way that it's kind of like a day timer / journal / take notes on your meditations. So it's still good for the mentorship for sure, because it's still following the themes of each week. Each week you get a challenge, you get a question, you've got spaces to fill in, and it's all South energy. So it's driving you to focus on the emotional body, the intuitive hits that you're getting, the self-love that you're doing, all these kinds of things. And so there's like a monthly overview, and then you got a week overview, and then you got a daily, and then you got places for your meditations and suggested meditations, and for those who are in the mentorship, there is a section in there for live call notes, but it just says notes. So anybody who buys it can use that however they want to. But it is on Amazon, and oh, Linda, you got it yesterday. Yay. You're probably my first sale. Literally, I got the email. Oh yeah, you know, that one I'm redoing. That one will be redone here when I get time. That Linda was showing the journal that I have for tracking your meditations, your dream reentries, journeys, breath work, dream, all of it. Lori, what is the time commitment for the mentorship, and what does the schedule look like for the live portion? You have to do it 25 hours a day. Just all in. No, it's really, it's up to you how much you want to put in. It's every week you get a class and a meditation. You do that however you want to. Every Thursday we do live calls. The live calls run about 2 hours, and they're recorded so you can replay them later. You could, I know some people who wake up in the middle of the night, can't sleep, and watch the replay.
What time of day are those?
We do one at 3 o'clock and we do one at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And the calls are not new information. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. 1 week we do workshopping, which is it's really fun. We just do something different each week. It's spontaneous. And then the following week we do a reflective community question, and everybody kind of connects and answers that question. So really the live calls are for us to meet together as a group so we feel like we have community and time together. And usually, on average between 12 to 18 people will show up for the live calls, and some people never show up for the live calls. They don't do any, you'll never see their face, and but they're doing the work in the background on their own. So, and we have some people who get stuck on week 1 and they just want to work on that for the entire 9 weeks. That's fine. And I'm a huge advocate that you exactly work on what you want and feel that you need to work on at that time. If you join as a wisdom keeper, you keep access to your course the entire time you're enrolled in the course. Well, actually, even if you did single session, if you renewed, you would still have access to it. So you can go back to it at any time you want. But, and the courses, they vary. It's between, I don't know, I tend to lean on the side of giving you a lot so that you can really get what you need from it. It isn't meant to overwhelm anybody, but I don't want to be one of those instructors that you walk away with like 2 pages of stuff and be like, okay, what else? So time commitment really is subjective. Norma, Brooke, Mara, Renata, do you guys have Sherry, any thoughts on that? How much time you spend? I don't actually take the course, so I don't know.
It just depends on what's going on in my life. I plan it around my schedule. Yeah. So, I try to work on it every day, but if I'm busy a day, I don't worry about it. I get it the next day. Yeah.
It's, we're not drilling the hammer here. Brooke?
I usually get the coursework done pretty quick. The thing that I run into trouble with, and I was actually talking to my husband about this last night and was going to send you a message, is the meditation, since I kind of need a block of time when I'm not going to be interrupted. Is there any way that you guys can change it so that instead of just when you complete an entire unit, you mark it as complete, but you can mark like each portion as complete? Because I get lost where I am in my meditations.
Yeah, I wish I could. That I can't. It's either you are or you aren't.
Is there any way that we can do like any sort of like a check mark on meditations? In addition to like the daily coursework, I being in the Wisdom Keeper, I've got the immersion as well. And so I just get so confused with what I've done and what I haven't. And I don't probably commit enough time to meditation, but the time that I do have, sometimes, I'll start over one and I'm like, oh, I've already done this.
Yeah. So, you know what I could do? And this is what I love, and I want everybody to see this, is that the students in the mentorship help shape the mentorship. And I love suggestions because it helps me to make it even better. Actually, almost every change I make is because somebody said. So what I will do, Brooke, is I will create a separate course just for the meditations and add it to, and still keep it the way it's set up now. But then if you want to go to that and do your meditations only, you can check them off that way. Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
all right. Mara's in agreement. So, what's that?
For those of you who aren't in the mentorship, there was absolutely no hubris in that statement at all. She listens to what we say, and especially when she fixes it, and it's wonderful. So
thank you. You're welcome. I better make that note down so I don't.
I wanted to say one thing because I've been going through this. I don't even know anymore.
Gosh, like 2 years now at least.
2 years. And my first year, I always felt like I was behind. Always. It was like, because I'm such a course taker, and this kind of work is very new to me. So I always felt like I had to check off. I couldn't move forward until I finished that unit. And then, yeah, I had a conversation with Dakota, and she says, it's okay to move forward. It's okay to go to where you need to be.
Yeah.
That's guiding you where you need to be. So once that happened, you know, I could release that feeling of, oh my gosh, I haven't done all, you know, checked every box off and done every single meditation. I sat where I needed to be for a while. And the first time around, it was a long while. Like I literally was in the first 2 weeks, like the whole 9 weeks.
Yeah.
But I needed to do that work. And then the next time around, it's different. I mean, you know, it's fascinating how, even though you've been through the wheel, you know, one session, you're always working on yourself. You're always, you know, going deeper in. So I just wanted to pass that along for anybody who had that same kind of concern. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, I'm that way also. I have to check it all off. Brooke?
Yeah, the other thing is this period right now, you know, some of the bonus courses that I got initially when I signed up, I didn't get all of those done. And that kind of freaked me out at first, but I'm finding that now in between these sessions, like, well, what do I do now? And so I'm really happy that I've got those other courses to go back to, or the other meditations that I haven't done yet. So this is catch up time here, and kind of to really sit back and go, okay, what do I need? And so this is helpful too in this period where we got a little bit of a break. So it's not frantic all the time.
It is, and it is really wonderful when, and this is for the Wisdom Keepers, when you join as a Wisdom Keeper, which is the year-long program, you commit to going through all 4 directions, is that you get 4 bonus courses. But I intentionally put in between each session usually about 2, if not 3, 3.5. This one we actually had a long break in between, 3.5 weeks, and it's a great time to just regroup and process the information that we just went through, you know, in the 9 weeks, because we really cram it in. And I think that's really important, because you also want to have downtime. I know I need downtime in between sessions. The whole first week that we were off break, I didn't do any work. It was wonderful to just have to just sit. I played with my niece and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I'm glad you bring that up, and it's a good reminder to those who are in the mentorship. This is a good time for you to be catching up, doing your bonus courses, do your meditations, or do nothing. Nothing.
I have another question.
Sure.
Where I noticed you have this, I forget the name of it, but there's like this little sharing app. I don't remember, but anyway, they send it on email, but I don't know how to make it do some things, and I wasn't sure where the instructions are to it. And I'm also, you said a lot of courses, and I wasn't sure which ones were applicable to the South. So how do I know what to do or not do? I was just kind of flipping around. I thought, you know, when all else follows, follow instructions. So where are the instructions?
Well, I'll answer that in 2 parts. First of all, we will be doing an orientation on Monday the 1st, I think, and July 1st, and it'll be recorded, so you can catch the replay. And we will go through all those different things that that you get when you come into the mentorship, how to access stuff, and etc. And then the second part of your question, this we have, I think for the South direction, it's Awaken the Sacred Heart Warrior, I think is what it's called, or Awaken the Sacred Heart. That is the course that kind of goes with the South direction, and that is also for sale as an individual course. If you're not in the mentorship, it is an individual course on our website, and it's many dive into the South direction, and really just about waking up your heart chakra, living a more heart-centered life. We'll get you there though, Raven. When you're new in the mentorship, there's going to be some, and those who have been here, everybody was new at one time. They kind of struggle with the same thing, similar things, and it feels like a duck out of water, but pretty soon you catch on. And the beautiful thing is you have a lot of people who will walk you through it. You just go on Slack and say, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. And boom, you're going to have like 10 people who will come to your rescue and say, hey, this is where you need to go, or what you need to do.
And also, Leanne, who's not here today, she's traveling. She handles really anything that you have any tech issues with. If you're having any trouble logging into anything, I mean, she'll get on a call with you, or she'll, send you instructions on what to do. And I'm happy to do that as well. So it can be a little overwhelming at first when you're trying to put all the parts together. But and Slack is the main channel that's used for the community. And you want to talk a little bit about what's in there, Dakota?
Yeah, so Slack is, a lot of people use Facebook for their online communities. I don't really like Facebook. I don't trust their privacy parameters. And so we chose to use Slack as our community venue. And there's a lot of different channels. So if you're not familiar with Slack, it is similar to a group in Facebook, except that you can have all these channels that have different themes. And you can also have direct messages, and it's just like chat, but you can share photos, all kinds of stuff. And the cool thing about Slack is we call it Dudley. There's a bot that you can program, and I spent probably a year programming. We call him Dudley, and you can you can converse with the community, and you can do great things and build relationships and all that stuff. But the hidden gem of Slack is that it's also a built-in feature where it's like a workshop. You can go in there and say, "Can I have a journal prompt?" And it'll come up. It pulls from a pool of about 300 questions that you can then use as a journal prompt or a meditation prompt. Tell me about my guides, and you'll get messages from your guides. You can, I'm drawing a blank on some of the other stuff that you can do, but I've programmed him also that when you say certain key words that he will show up and give you like a little something. The funniest one though is you have to start a knock-knock joke with him. And that we add a lot of humor in there too. Dudley is very funny because this is very serious work that we do, and we really want to have humor be a big part of our course also. We need to lighten it up some.
Because I tried asking a question, and my question didn't get answered with the Slack thing, because I read everybody else's and they said, tell me what my guides want, or whatever. So I wrote the same question and nothing happened. So I thought, I got to read the instructions or find the instructions or whatever. So I'll keep working on it.
Okay. And really quickly though, Raven, when you go, so you got a pre-course. When you come into the mentorship, you get a pre-course. And there is a packet that you can download that is community guidelines. And in that packet, there are all the prompts that you can say to Dudley that will, because it has to be the exact wording. But you can get there that way. And tell me if you don't see that packet, and we'll make sure you have it. But it's in your pre-course that you have. And I just want to say one thing. Sherry kind of touched on it because I've gotten a couple of support tickets from some of you today. Because Leanne is out of commission until Thursday, which I hate. Leanne, when you watch this replay, you're not allowed to go on vacation again. I will get to your ticket as soon as I possibly can, but I have to do opening ceremony first. And then I also have 2 birthday parties I have to go to. All right. Linda, yes, Slack is available no matter where you are in the world. Yeah, everybody is on it. Any other questions? How about over here in YouTube land? Looks like YouTube is quiet today. Brooke.
I just wanted to reassure Raven and anybody else that's new and confused by this. Dakota will attest, I traded about 1,000 emails on where's this and what's this and how do I do this. And that was just this last direction. And now I feel like I live here and I've been here forever. So it comes pretty easy once you hop around in it for a while. Being sort of a East direction visionary type, I'm just like, wait, I don't see this immediately. And so but once you are there for a little bit, it's just very intuitive. So
yeah, it really is. And it's like riding a bike. Once you know how to do it, it's really easy. But that first time is intimidating. And it's intimidating. I will, I really commend all of you who are on video here right now, because that isn't easy either, is to show up in a class and be vulnerable and be in your space and be on video and be seen by all these people that you don't know. And one of the reasons why we do video classes is for the reason of having that intimate circle where we can all be a part of it. When we're in our Thursday live classes, almost everybody is off or on video, so you'll see everybody, which is really nice. I can't teach to watching myself. That just, oh. I had an option to make this a webinar or a large meeting, and the webinar is where you guys could see me, but you wouldn't be able to see each other. I was like, no, I got to see everybody. So I appreciate you guys being here and showing up. Anything else that I can answer? I'm really, really excited about this south direction. I feel like there's something in the air that's changing. I don't know if I'm the only one who's feeling it. I doubt it, but it feels like there's like this big shift that's happening on a personal level and also on a global level. And somehow I think we're bridging that somewhat. So I'm really excited about this direction. I think it's going to be really transforming for myself and a lot of people. I'm coming full circle. I
said I just have one more question. I know I have a lot of
rephrase
questions.
that. Say I have another question, because I'm pretty sure you'll probably have more than just this one.
You got that straight. I have a little friend, a little dog that I'm concerned about, and I was trying to figure out kind of how to use the medicine wheel for her. I already went to the wolf tribe and talked to them about her, but I'm stuck. It's one of those, vet says she needs to get all her teeth pulled, and she's 16 years old, and she's like my love of my life. And so, it's just a hard decision. So I was wondering how to apply the medicine wheel to that. And I'm going to start crying, so I'm going to get off.
I know. God, animals are so hard to, when something happens to our animals, it's just heart-wrenching. I feel that for you, Raven. And it's so scary to be in that place of feeling so out of control. Taking it to the wheel. If it were me, and it kind of is in a way with Izzy, is starting in the east and looking at really the realistic thing. Like, what do I realistically need to do and schedule? What do I need to research? What do I need to plan and do and put action towards? And then in the south, it would be really listening in on your intuition. What does your gut say? And really feeling into that relationship with your dog and feeling what that, using your empathic muscle. Is your dog a boy or a girl? You can shake yes if it's a girl. No? Yes? Okay. What does she need right now? And really feel what the emotion is for your dog, what your emotion is. Is your dog picking up your emotion? Are you picking up your dog's emotion? And really try to separate that out a little bit so that you can get the real picture of what's going on emotionally with her. And then in the West, look at ways that you can manage what she needs right now. And it might be, whether it's food or supplements or massage or whatever it is that the body needs. And that includes what can I do for the oral care and things like that. And looking at things more from a practical, physical standpoint. How can I make this a sacred space for her? What is she going to need? And that goes back into the south again too, is feeling what's going to make her most comfortable at this time. And then in the north, I would do a meditation and journey to her higher self and to your higher self, and feel from that spiritual point of view what is needed at this time. And also calling in those angels and your guides, her guides, to protect and help both of you through whatever is in the best interest of her and you. And then sit in the middle of the wheel and feel all of that energy coming together and enveloping both of you. Mother Earth supporting you, Father Sky protecting and preparing. And really finding that inner peace within, and that clarity. And clarity is in the east direction also. But it's sometimes we get down into those emotions and we get stuck there in the emotion, and then we don't do the east-west stuff that seems so practical, and we think that it feels impersonal, but really it's blending that in with the esoteric and the emotional. And that's the totality of the medicine wheels, being able to bring in all those pieces. Yeah, Sharon wrote, dog and human connections are a very special bond. I don't think there's anything more painful that I've ever experienced than losing a dog that was my soulmate. It's a very painful experience. I hope that helps, Raven, and keep us in touch, will you? Yeah. And, in that too, I will say this also, that take your dog out of it for just a second and put you in the medicine wheel. And for you, communicating what you need, and south direction, bringing in that community. Now you have the community of mentorship, bringing in the community and asking for support, emotional support, asking for people to hold space for you, asking for what you need, creating those sacred relationships. And in the west, making sure that you're taking care of yourself too, that you're eating right and that you're getting enough sleep and being as strong as you possibly can, creating boundaries. And then also forgiveness of yourself. If there's anything that you feel you're responsible for, is it forgiving yourself? And then keeping that tie into your guides. We forget ourselves in these kind of things too.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Good. Oh, anybody else? Okay.
So 12:30?
Yeah, so I need to actually go set up outside. We're going to do the opening ceremony outside. And you guys can come back at 12:30 if you want to for the opening ceremony. You can also hang out here and talk if you'd like. We're going to cut off YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. We're going to cut you guys off and set that up, and then we'll meet back here on Zoom, and we'll probably, same link, Brooke. We'll decide if we're going to do YouTube Live. We probably will for the opening ceremony. I love my YouTube peeps. All right, so I will see you guys back here in exactly 26 minutes.
Thank you, Dakota.
You're welcome. And if you guys have any questions between now and whenever, we have the cart open, the enrollment open until next Sunday, and then that's it. No, I don't take anything beyond Sunday at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Enrollment is done. So if you are thinking about coming into the mentorship, please take a look at the page that we have all the information on. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us. I will be online later. You'll see the little green dot down at the bottom right-hand corner, which means that I'm there, and you can ask me a question in real time. And I hope that
on the website.
Yeah,
Sorry,
on the website. Yeah. I'm debating on my birthday parties. If I don't go to my birthday parties, I'll be online. It is my great nephew's birthday, so I don't know. He's 5. He doesn't really remember. He doesn't really know me, but maybe. Sherry, do you have something you want to say?
Nope. We'll just see everybody back here for the opening.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. I still never know how to end this on YouTube. Let's see.